Crimson Desert is the newest game to have a full ray tracing mode. The game basically has path tracing when you turn everything to max with ray reconstruction on. So in the video, I'm just going to show you the difference between full ray tracing, everything maxed out, versus ray tracing off completely. So this is ray tracing with ray reconstruction. You'll find that ray tracing is going to add a lot of ambient information. It's going to have light bouncing back from the sun onto the ground, back onto the bricks, things like that. You'll see more information in the shadows. It'll change the color of the shadows because there's more light bouncing around. It just completely changes the way light interacts with the scene. Like in this scene, she's holding the door open and you can see the light coming in from outside, getting into the shop. Shadows with every pot in the background. The flowers are a different color because light's hitting it from the ambient light outside. Just a lot going on, and there's a lot of things to notice. So feel free to pause the video. So I did choose to shoot this video with 2x frame generation on, mostly because it would drop below 60 frames per second with it off, and it would make the video look choppy. But OBS did have some problems recording the ray reconstruction footage, so it's choppy anyway. Seems like it was just a lot of information, so some clips are a little choppy when in reality the gameplay is perfectly smooth. Lighting changes are really enhanced inside. You can see there's a ton of light coming from the left that wasn't there without ray tracing on. You can see she's actually blonde. Indoors without ray tracing, there's like a very heavy shimmering effect that is really noticeable in certain situations. You'll notice it mostly in like deeper, darker corners of houses and places like that. There are a couple quirks like that I didn't know if it was something that was just a bug or if it was just the way the lighting engine acted. So I kept the clips in just because it seems like that's just the way it is. There's a ton of different environments in this game. I've walked around a ton and barely even made a line in the map. So it's really, really very big. A lot of different types of light, a lot of different settings. So this video just scratches the surface. This is mostly early game stuff. I do think I'll make more videos as I get further in the game and as I hit more environments. It seems like there really is a lot to explore. Another indoor clip just showing the difference in shadows, the difference in color temperature. See on the back wall he has a shadow, all the gemstones have shadows in the cupboard, and all the metal looks different in the foreground. It's really fun to see how the environments change indoors. There are a couple different settings for ray tracing in this game. There's lighting quality, ray tracing on and off, and ray reconstruction on and off. It gets a little confusing because if you turn everything to cinematic, that's presumably the highest setting, but if you turn on ray tracing and ray reconstruction, it will turn the lighting quality beyond cinematic into max. To make it more confusing, you can turn the lighting quality to max, even with ray tracing off, but it will give a really bad visual bug, at least it does in 4K, where there's like a fourth of the screen that's covered with weird lighting artifacts. I've got examples of that later in the video. And here's some more stuff. I don't know if it was just the camera I was using or if it's just the way the lighting is, but sometimes I got some really gnarly lens flare. I don't know if you can turn that off, but it was pretty distracting. So with ray tracing, some things at a glance look really similar, but if you look deeper, there's actually quite a bit more detail with ray reconstruction. Ray reconstruction also has some strange and interesting effects with like textures. It may be a bug, but it might just be the way the lighting is reacting to the actual materials in the game. But in certain situations, there's a lot more parallax with ray reconstruction, so it looks like there's a ton more depth in the environment. You'll also notice ray reconstruction will add a lot more shadows. It seems to sharpen the image a lot. This is with DLSS 4.5, so it just came out. It's going to be the sharpest version of DLSS. You can't even use ray reconstruction without DLSS. It's just crazy to think of how much of the game is being rendered in AI now compared to actual raster. But either way, something in the AI realm is creating a very sharp image with very sharp textures that go further in the distance with good frame rates. So make sure you watch it all in full screen so you can really see how much sharper the textures are on like brick buildings and things with ray reconstruction. even though there's a ton of places where it is extremely noticeable, there's also going to be a lot of places where it is really subtle. So you would ask yourself, how could you possibly give up half your frame rate just to enable this setting? But it does really make for a more cohesive experience, in my opinion, especially where you're going in and out of doors and stuff like that. The environments just seem to flow a bit better. There's not as much eye adaptation. But if you don't know what you're looking for, there's going to be a lot of places where you just simply don't see a difference. Like this clip where the reflections are marginally better with ray tracing on. The water does look better, but at a glance or on a small screen, you really wouldn't notice it that much. But looking at this clip here, you can really see how much ray reconstruction adds to a scene, especially with your lantern out. See, every log, every blade of grass has a shadow that disappears when you turn ray tracing off. The best part is the game really does look incredible. Either way, I'll be honest, it's a stunning game. Kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting a game to look like this and run like this because it's more than playable with all these settings. Feels as good or better than Cyberpunk, and it has similar lighting technology, but it's really going to be up to your hardware. I don't see a ton of people using ray reconstruction unless they have like a 5080 or something similar or playing in 1080p, just because it is extremely intense on your graphics card. But let me know if you are able to run it and what card you're using. I am happy with the game, I'm happy with the way it looks, and I am stoked to have a new game to explore. But here you'll see in this clip, they're literally raising and lowering because of the parallax difference with ray reconstruction on, so something interesting happening there. Either way, I think I will enjoy this game, and I can't wait to make a few more videos about it. On to the settings I used. We tested it in full screen at 4K with DLSS 4.5 in quality. I did have frame generation on 2x, so that'll be controversial, but I just wanted a smoother video. Ray reconstruction got turned on and off, reflex is on, everything was turned to cinematic, so max settings. The only settings I changed were ray tracing, lighting quality, and ray reconstruction. Also, if you didn't know, accessibility has motion blur, turn that off, but ray reconstruction on and off, lighting quality goes to max. And ray reconstruction gets turned on and off. So you kind of have to check to make sure all three of these are on, because sometimes you can run into issues where you think it's on, but it really isn't. So this is what it looks like, by the way, with the lighting bug. If you turn it to max settings without ray tracing on. So lighting quality can't be on max without ray tracing, or you get a square in your left-hand corner. I stream on Twitch a few days a week as well as YouTube, so come check me out at Real 8-Leaf Clover. I appreciate you watching. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Goodbye.